Hello, student. So we'll be continuing four principles of object-oriented programming. So in the previous slides, we have seen some of them, and now we'll be discussing some others in the four principles list. So far we have seen that there are four principles of object-oriented programming: abstractions, inheritance, polymorphism, and encapsulations. Now we'll talk about polymorphism. So we already have introduced what is polymorphism. So polymorphism is something that we can have two different objects, or we can have two different components, or in our real life we can have two different human beings who looks alike. So this is the concept, this is the idea of polymorphisms. So in programming language we can have polymorphism concept. We can have two different components, or we can have two different objects which basically look like similar. So how to implement polymorphism concept in Java? The first one is called method overriding. Overriding means to override the functionality of an existing method. For examples, you have a class which is a superclass, and superclass have a function. Now you created a subclass. That subclass inherits all the functionality from superclass. Now in the subclass you can override a function that is adopted from the superclass. So this is called method overriding. So you are overriding an existing method that is adopted from superclass in the subclass. But there is some restrictions when you are trying to implement method overriding. The argument list should be exactly same as that of the overriding method. So the method that is adopted from superclass the method that you are overriding in the subclass, both methods should have similar argument list, same number of argument list and same type of argument list. The other restriction is that both method should have similar type of return type, same return type. If the method in the superclass return integers, then the method in the subclass should return integers. So these are the two restrictions when you are going to implementing method overriding. Let's see one example. Say we have a class called dog. In the dog class we have a method called bark. So in the bark you can see that it prints some string. Now we created a subclass using extends keyword that adopted all the characteristics from dog. So this subclass has a additional method called sniff, and it also has bark method which is adopted from superclass. However, you can see that we overridden this method in the subclass, the bark class. What is the difference? So in the method of superclass, you can see it has one string, one kind of string that is printed. That would be printed using this println print line keyword. However, in the method in the subclass is printing different string. So that means we have updated some informations. We have updated some implementations in the subclass, in the method in the subclass. So that is the idea of overridden. Both method has the same name, but they have the different implementations. That basically saying that these two methods looks alike, but These two methods are not same method. This two method is different method. This is the overriding concept in Java. Let's see one examples on terminals. So here you can see that notebook class that extends from computer that we have seen in the previous lecture slide. So here we can see that this class has two constructors. This one is one constructor and this one is another constructor. The implementation of these two constructors is different. However, both constructor has the same name. This one is a notebook, this one is a notebook. So this is kind of a implementation of polymorphism. So we are having two different things in the same name. So we can have similar kind of stuffs in our code that basically tells about the polymorphism. Now the second idea of the polymorphism is called method overloading. So what is overloading? It is a feature that allows a class to have two or more methods having same name if their arguments are different. Here it's saying that we can have two different methods in the same class, but similar, both method has the same name, but they can have different argument list. So, say for examples, you have a class called, you know, notebook, and notebook class has two different method, but both method has the same name. Say for example, both method name is print me, and one method has one argument that taking from outside, and other method is it doesn't have any argument. So that means we can have two methods with the same name but with two different argument lists. So that calls a method overloading. So this is example of method overloading. So you can see that class doc has two method. Both method name is bark. The first method printing one thing, and second method has printing a string, and first method printing string, and it doesn't have any argument. uh, but in the second method it has the same name, but it has one argument, and it has different implementations. So this is kind of a method overloading. We can have two different method with the same name with two different argument list. So we can see one programming examples on the terminal. Let's assume we purchase our notebook from only one manufacturers. We could introduce new construct that we have seen in our class. So this is kind of a polymorphisms. We have talked about this is a polymorphism concept, and it's a method overloading concept. Now let's go to slide again. So in Java also, we when we class might have several methods with the same name. Java Virtual Machine, which is called JVM, decide at runtime which method to be called. So you can have several methods with the same name. So it could be confusing that which method would be called, uh, but that should be decided during runtime. So Java Virtual Machine decide at runtime which method to be called. Say for these examples, we have this object, and this object called this constructor, computer constructor, and this with the same object we can have different constructors. So this is the idea of polymorphism so far. Now this is different things. A method can have argument which is a basically object of the class. So you can see that the public compare power is a method that has argument which is a object of a computer class. So we can have a object as an argument in a method. Then you can use that computer object to do some operation in the class. Now let's talk about the abstract class. Abstract class is a concept of the abstraction. So just remember that we have seen in our previous slides that calls inheritance. Inheritance also is a concept of abstract data type or abstractions. So abstract class is similar to the inheritance. So abstract class is a class, but it has some restrictions. So abstract class cannot be instantiated. So you cannot create object of the abstract class. An abstract class may declare abstract method. So which is abstract method? A abstract method is a method which is not implemented. So only uh, you know uh, prototype of the method is given, then you can call that this is abstract method. A method that is not implemented, that is not defined, then you can call that method is an abstract method. So these are the two things. A abstract class cannot be instantiated, and an abstract class may declare abstract method. So how to create an abstract class? So you have to give some visibilities such as public, private, or protected, then abstract keyword, then class keyword, then give the class name. So this is the how a abstract class created. So just in an interface, an abstract method is declared through a method heading in the abstract class. As I said, that is like an interface. We have seen in the interface we declared several methods over there, but we didn't implement it. Those things similar to the interface, we can have abstract method in the abstract class. Those should be declared but should not be defined. So this is the how abstract method defined. You have to give visibility like public, private, protected, then abstract keyword, then a return type or result type, then method name, then you can have some parameter list or argument list. This is the how abstract method is defined. So difference between abstract class and interface. So both are the abstraction concept. So what is the difference? So abstract class can have abstract and non-abstract method. So we already have discussed abstract method is something that is not implemented. So abstract class can have both type of things, abstract or non-abstract method. However, interface only have abstract methods. So we have seen an example of the interface topic on the terminal that interface never had any non-abstract method. Abstract class doesn't support multiple inheritance, so the abstract class cannot inherit from multiple class. Interface supports multiple inheritance. However, interface support multiple, so we can inherit inherit from multiple objects or multiple components. Abstract class can have final, non-final, static, and non-static variable. These are the variable type, different type of variables. So non-static variable, static variable. You should learn those things. I believe you have to. You already learned those things in the previous course. However, interface has only static and final variable. Abstract class can provide the implementation of interface. So abstract class can implement some interface in the class. Interface cannot provide implementation of abstract class because interface cannot provide any kind of implementations. However, abstract class can provide some implementation of the method, which is a non-abstract. The abstract keyword is used to declare abstract class. We have seen that this is abstract keyword is used to create abstract class, and interface keyword is used to declare interface. So this is one example of abstract class, and this is one example of interface. So these are the difference between abstract class and interface. Let's see one example of abstract class on terminals. So This is the abstract class public, which is visibility, then abstract keyword, then class keyword, then class name food. So food is a class, abstract class. We have some data members, then we have some abstract method, then we have another abstract method, then we have some some other abstract method, and finally we have some non-abstract method. So this is get calories method, which is implemented, and this is set calories method, this is implemented. So abstract class have uh, abstract and non-abstract method. This is the example of how to create an abstract class. So Java has several wrapper class and abstract class. So here, say number is some class, and byte to double integer short or the subclass of that number superclass. So now number is a abstract class, and this is used to implement some more classes called byte doubles, and those are implemented in Java library, so we can use those class for our purpose. So these are the activities. You have to read this chapter to understand this concept, and we'll go to next slides again right now. Uh, Thank you.